Hello. Hello, everybody.
At exactly the same time as me. Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to Gym Time with myself, Debbie.
And me, Maurice. And we're here to get your motivation. You know, I done it earlier on. I was like ducking down and I went like this.
Probably going to have to do a little jingle. Get your motivation time. Get your motivation. Something.
Can I dance as well?
Yeah, do that. Yeah. So hi to those that are on Instagram. For some reason, I can't even see the chat. I was trying to bring it up. Can't seem to see it. It's not coming up. So forgive me, all of you in Instagram land. I am trying to work on that as we speak. But welcome once again to Gym Time. And yeah, we've got a really great topic for you guys today. Do you want to go on ahead and say, Paul?
Yes. Well, our topic for today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, our topic for today is marriage and menopause, or marriage in menopause. What I was going to say as well is that this is a subject that I think every man should study, talk to their significant other about, because I'm amazed, you know, on my little studies, and I was going to be taking a back seat today because we were supposed to have a guest, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make it. and I was gonna take that back seat and learn as much as I can. So, um, but I've been speaking to other people today as well, other women, including my wife, and I've got a better insight of this. It's very much a big subject, very big, you know.
Yeah.
So I want to go with my disclaimer that I'm here to empower, motivate, encourage anyone and everyone, including myself. Um, I don't, as you say, Debbie, I don't claim to be an expert, but you know, I've been through a lot, and through the experiences that I've had, as much as everybody has been through, I'd like to share. And because I've matured and I've grown, two different things. That's a whole different subject in itself. I matured and I've come to a better understanding of myself and about marriage, about relationships, and do's and don'ts. So I want to put out to you certain things, and hopefully you apply them, or at least it gives you a template to try. But if it don't work, yeah, and you know what I'm gonna say to everyone, nobody cut me neck. Yeah. Over to you, Debbie.
Yeah, my disclaimer is pretty much the same. I'm here to inspire, motivate, and uplift those who join us on the platform, even those that will come later on and watch the replays. I just really want everyone just to come along on the journey with us. Like my brother said, we're not experts, but we are experts in life because we've all experienced life and been married and divorced and married and children and grandchildren and all that. So, it's lived experience. So we're on the
Absolutely.
journey with you guys and we are learning as we go along. So like my brother said, this is a topic that he's learning about as well as we are going on the journey. So come along on the journey with us. And like I say, my catchphrase is I might not know everything, but what I do know, I will share with you. So yeah. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to those that are in the chat. I hope that you're all doing well. Cousins are in the chat. Nice to see you guys. And yeah, please share with your followers, share with your friends and your family as well, so we can have more people on, so that more people can
Absolutely.
find
And
out what we're doing.
if any of you feel that you want to contribute towards this subject and you fancy coming live, please send a message and we will definitely send you a link and you can come live either with your camera on, or if you haven't fixed your hair, done your makeup, trimmed your beard, then you can have your camera off. But you can contribute towards this topic if you so be. Just let us know, and where to send the link to, what email, WhatsApp, phone number, whatever it is. I'll come to your door if I have to. No, you know. But remember, this isn't just our show. Yeah, Debbie and myself. This is ours as a community of people to learn and grow. So if you have any other subjects that you want to talk about as well, please put it in the chat. Please message us on either Gym Time, or if you know us personally, send us a message and we'll definitely create a show around that. But you have to come on.
Right, so let's get cracking.
Good
So
evening, baby. My wife's on.
yes, I saw her. Hi Catherine. Hi
Hi,
Michael.
Michael.
Hi Vivine. Who else is there?
That's it.
That's it
But
so far.
there are those that are just watching as well. So hello to you. You can
All
put
of
something
those
in the
on
chat
Instagram, hi.
once again.
I can't see them for some reason today. It wouldn't, I don't know.
Look, it's funny. We had technical problems last week, you know, and now here is a technical problem of not being able to see the people as well. But you know what?
Yeah, it
It
is
is
going
what it is.
live, but I can't seem to
See the
talk
chat.
to them. Yeah, for some reason, and I'm not no pro on here. So yeah, let's get cracking.
Yes, let's get cracking. So, would you like me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. On my research, this is taken from Dr. W. David Hager, MD. He's a gynecologist who practices in Lexington, Kentucky. Dr. Hager is a member of the Physicians Resource Council of Focus on the Family. So obviously we're talking about menopause, but let me just start. Menopause is the point in life when a woman's ovaries begin to significantly decrease production of the hormones estrogen and pro, 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 and I said it earlier, progesterone and
Progesterone.
testosterone.
Mhm.
Estrogen and progesterone are the two principal female hormones, while testosterone, as we know that it's in men, although commonly thought of as a male hormone, is produced in a small amount um, in the ovaries and adrenal glands in women. Testosterone plays an important role in sexual desire and energy enhancement. Do you want to go on?
No, go ahead. Do what you're doing.
Menopause is defined as 12 months of going without a menstrual period. But in talking to someone else, because that's what he's put, um, it says, um, my wife just come in, and she just opened the door and she said, hallelujah. Um, menopause.
Menopause, yeah.
Menopause is the leading up to having a full menopause, which comes next, obviously. And then there's postmenopause, when a woman has up to, or don't have actually, a period up to 12 months. So anything between that up to 12 months of not having one um, is called postmenopause. But that I'd like to go back to the perimenopause, because I didn't have a clue about any of this. I didn't know, for us as men, we sometimes think that it's, and some women like this, it occurs at a specific age, but it's not. You know, little by little, women in their 30s, early 30s, are post, or they were post, or they have full menopause, perimenopause, or um, they're having menopause from that time. But it's it also says it begins just over 51. I think, and talking to someone tonight, I like what they said, and it's a possibility, which I guess is something that we could look through the window at and probably study. I'm no expert, and neither is the other person who I was speaking to. If it used to be only for the 50s onwards, and now it's happening at a younger age, could it possibly be the preventative measures like the coil, etc., or the blockers, because they're giving up hormones as well, and obviously with this, there's an imbalance in a woman's hormones, which leads her to act in different ways. And I'll pass it over to you now, Debbie.
So I was trying to see if I can connect on Instagram. Obviously, it doesn't seem to be
Okay.
working. So yeah, I think because I'm in that zone, I'm one of those women who they can, I'm considered to like have gone past the perimenopause and now like full-fledged menopause, like, I'm meant to be in that kind of area. However, what is being said about the menopause and the perimenopause is a lot, I think, because there's been so many challenges in people with being in work, and not understanding why they're getting brain fog, can't remembering things, and so forth. It has become a big thing in the media because there are so many women who have been told, like, oh, you've taken too much time off of work, and you know you're not performing well, and all of these different things. So the media has really held on to it, latched onto it, and really have been speaking about how they can support and help women going through menopause, and explaining, like, to husbands and explaining to their significant others what the challenges might be. And I think that for someone like myself who just cracks on with things, I didn't even really notice that I was perimenopausal, like, because the night sweats, like, I sweat a lot anyway. I only really noticed a lot when I was in 2020, when I was during that time, during the pandemic, and I was a Waitrose driver. And what was happening to me, it might sound funny, but it was serious. What was happening, I had to go to people's houses to drop off their shopping. And I was knocking on the wrong door because I looked on the paper and I saw that it said number 20. By the time I got all the stuff out of the truck, I'd gone to like number 22. Like, do you know what I mean? And then I'd be like scratching my head, like, I know that it said 20. I would have to look at this paper a million times till I got to the stage where I no longer was just looking at the paper. I was bringing the paper with me, because between the time I would look at the paper in the van, unpack the shopping, and go to take it to the door, I would totally forget. And I was thinking, this is really serious. Like, what is actually going on here? I felt as though, like, I know someone that had early onset Alzheimer's, where their memory, where they're not remembering. And I was like, no, Jesus. I was like praying. I was like, this is not right. Seriously. And then I went to the doctors and they were saying, like, you're probably perimenopausal. But before I went to the doctors, I like was doing memory games. I like downloaded a lot of memory games because I was my like anybody could ask me about certain things. Like my best friend, she could say, Debbie, what date did I do this? When did this happen? So forth. My memory was like proper, like playing up, and I had no idea it might have anything to do with the menopause coming on. Like the sweats, that weren't a big thing for me because I would sweat at night. But again, I was driving the truck one day and I felt this intense heat, and I was like, where is this heat coming from? Like, I like looked at the fan on the dashboard, the heat, and it wasn't on. And I was like, oh my God, this is like sweat. I was just sweating all of a sudden, but it was like an internal, like sweating, like it was just heat inside until it like came up all up into my neck, into my face. I was like, whoa, wind down the window and everything. And this started to happen on and off, on and off. And then, I speak to my friends and so forth, and they've been saying they've been getting sweats and all this for ages. And I wasn't getting anything. So I was just like, this must be just a passing thing. No, every so often it would happen. But I must admit, I'm very glad and I'm very thankful I haven't had lots and lots of the symptoms. People might tell you otherwise. However, again, very emotional, very, very emotional. Yeah, I think those are the kind of things that has happened to me. So let me give you a little um
I can't even say that I had because I
no, you
sweat.
can't. I will
Yeah,
hope
I
not.
sweat.
But they say they got
I get this
um
flush as well. Yeah,
yeah,
that I don't. But we're gonna do a subject on.
they got a menopause. They say that they've got
Yeah,
menopause as well.
we're gonna do a subject on that because
Yeah, we're gonna look into that.
it's a real thing, men,
Yeah,
women.
they
It's
they
a
do say
real
it.
thing that men go through a cycle. You know,
They
so
do.
we will do that maybe next week, maybe the week after. But definitely going to have that as a subject. I got a lot to
So,
say about that one.
so so I
Can
think,
I just say that something, Debbie?
go on.
I didn't know that it can be up to 10 years, yeah, for the phase as well of having pre and menopause and um, post menopause as well. I didn't know that it can take over a 10-year period.
Yeah, I think that they're finding that it can be over that period of time, and I would really have to pray for that woman,
Yeah, I'm
because
telling you, and yeah,
that is a long period of time
that's
to
a
be going.
long. And just the last footnote is that um, I was speaking to someone, and it's a subject matter in law now. More and more, the Employment Tribunal is treating menopause as a disability under the Equality Act 2010,
Hmm.
which didn't even know. You
Yeah,
know, well, I don't know why I would know, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing, and slowly, and it's being noted, that women are going through this change in their body, and it causes, like you said, the mood swings. It causes the lack of intimacy because of, and I'm going to read something afterwards when you finish. Okay, so I
yeah.
won't read that. I'll stop there.
So, like you said, and I'm just reading, the perimenopause means around menopause, and refers to the time during your body makes the natural transition to menopause, making the end of the reproductive years. Perimenopause is also called the menopausal transition. Women start perimenopause at different ages. So they've got here that some women start in their 30s, like what you said, Paul, but it's typically around about 40, 44. Women start to see the changes and start to experience the various changes. So the perimenopause stages are irregular periods or skipped periods, more or less bleeding than usual during periods, hot flushes, vaginal dryness, frequent urination, sleep problems like insomnia, mood changes, including irritability or depression. There are other symptoms along there. I mean, they haven't got the sweats on there, the night sweats, but also, even though they say irritability and depression, a lot of the times people say that this is part of the problem. Even in workplaces, they've said that women have become quite snappy. A lot of women end up feeling really depressed, overwhelmed, anxious, all of these kind of things. Women, one of the other things is weight gain, typically around the stomach area. A lot of women complain about that and find it very difficult to lose that weight for some reason. There are several things that women will experience, but I think that more and more, as society is talking about it, there are more solutions to the problems. But I think that it's really educating and bringing an awareness to it that really helps with the problems, because there's some of those problems that you're not going to be able to solve. And so, like the brain fog, the like I'm doing it now, in it, forgetting stuff. um, Forgetting stuff, is are those kind of things that you're not going to probably be able to change. However, if your employers, if your husband, if your children, if all of these people are aware of it, then it's going to make it easier for you. Because if you can imagine that you keep on saying you're forgetting, you're at work and you keep on saying you're forgetting, or you're getting those mood swings and you're feeling anxious or feeling depressed, they're going to start to feel like, oh, like, can we actually have this person on board with us, especially if you're forgetting stuff,
Mm.
but if they are aware that this is part of the symptoms, then they can be more tolerable. It could be more tolerable,
do you, do you
and
think that
things
it's
be safe.
something that women should take them to their employers, um,
Absolutely.
if
I've got
if
friends
they
that have done that.
premenopausal and post as well? Well, all of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, all of
Which
it.
which I think that employers do need to be aware of these symptoms that they go through,
Mhm.
and be just as much as a woman. And that's why I say in prayers, because this is why I said earlier that as men we need to get it. We need to understand it, because some men are employers, and her saying, a woman saying she's premenopausal, you know, ain't gonna mean nothing to a man unless he
Mhm.
understands what that means. You
Yeah.
know, all of a sudden she's in a meeting and she gets a brain fog, and she's presenting to a client. You
Mhm.
know, is it going to be an open topic where she can say, "Please bear with me"? I mean, you can um, write things down, because you know that that's what the
That's
season
right.
that you're
That's
in,
right. Yeah.
and have, take some measures into making sure that you're competent, because it's
Mhm.
not that you're incompetent, but it will make you feel that you're incompetent, because if you're presenting, or you're supposed to be doing the accounts, and all of a sudden you're putting 50 million in the man's account. I'll leave my bank details here if anyone's going through um, menopause. And then if you're in accounts or banking, yeah, yeah, my way,
But
yeah.
but
But
they might not add the zeros. They might also take the zeros away. So
no, but if I give them, I don't, they don't pay me. They don't normally pay me. Just take my bank account and remember it, and that's the number that will keep on coming to you. Why do I always think about this number? Maurice, But on a serious note, um, I was I was reading on this and about the effects on relationships, you know,
Mhm.
um, and I'll read from this same doctor um, that I quoted, which was Doctor whoever he was. See, I'm forgetting now, Debbie. Um, Dr. Hager,
Contagious.
and he says the effects on a relationship. While menopause is natural and normal, husbands and wives are often caught off guard by changes in their marriage relationship. Many husbands become confused by the behavior of their wife during menopause. The first thing often noticed is a decrease in sexual desire by their spouse. As both, I take this with a pinch of salt, because it depends on you, I think, as a couple as
Mm.
well. As both partners age, a decrease in the frequency of sexual intimacy is normal. But during menopause, some women have a significant loss of desire, or beginning to experience so much discomfort with intercourse that they choose to avoid contact. And
Mhm.
that's where communication comes in, to be open
Absolutely.
and saying that, saying things like this. The husband may not understand what's going on, and feel rejected or even suspicious that his wife is interested in someone else.
Mhm.
So where it's saying, we were talking earlier about dryness as well, you know,
Mhm.
um, she can also, it will be dry. There's a possibility that vagina will be dry, and it hurts. So
Yeah.
even if you use lubricant, it can still hurt, which
Mhm.
can be a put off in itself,
Mm.
um, for a woman. And later on, I'll read somewhat a subject matter of patients, uh, uh, or a doctor's view on that as well. Um, Actions and attitudes. Menopause doesn't necessarily spell trouble for a relationship. The key to stabilizing and strengthening marriage is to embrace this new season of the marriage relationship, because some people aren't married. um, every marriage relationship goes through transitions. You have the opportunity to create some new normal for your relationship. I just said this communication through this season of change is extremely important. It's critical for the husband to show deep understanding. I say that again because I understood the assignment after the fact.
Mhm.
Show deep understanding and compassion for his wife. He should remember that while he didn't ask for this, neither did she. the husband needs to avoid blaming and shaming his wife for in what is in many ways beyond her control.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there. There's some more there. Um,
Yeah, I'm going to read what
Can I just read this last bit, Debbie?
go on
Women
then.
should likewise extend grace to themselves. The feeling and emotional disruptions they undergo are the result of dramatic hormonal changes. So don't blame yourself, you know,
Absolutely.
because you've gone off. You don't have a sexual desire or appetite, and it's
Hmm.
not in all cases, you know.
No.
Um, some people just it's normal. They still have the desire, or they create that in their mind where they will say, "Well, I know I'm going through this, but I want to make sure that I don't lose that intimacy with my husband." And there's many things that you can be doing. You know, it doesn't have to be uh, what's the word,
Penetrative.
penetration.
Mm.
You know, there are so many other things as well that you can do.
Absolutely.
Um, and knowing that your wife has said that her vagina hurts, you got to take your time.
Hmm.
Whatever you do, you need to take your time, you know, and just be understanding. Someone I was talking to again, they said that they, um, for the energy, because you have a loss of energy as well, they're keeping fit. They're doing the gym. They're eating differently, you know, um, and it's you're trying something as opposed to nothing. You know,
Hmm.
go ahead. What
Right.
is it?
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that article, Paul.
Yeah.
So, Travel Buffet says, I don't remember having any emotional menopausal symptoms until after I had COVID, or it could be effects from the long COVID. I do believe I had the physical symptoms, though. What were the physical symptoms? Amida said premenopause, and
That's Myrrh, by the way.
yeah, I know. Um, is what the symptoms are within 12 months of stopping. Yeah, so what they basically say, typically after 12 months of not seeing your menstrual cycle, you've basically gone from premenopause to menopause. um I believe that even after that you're still
Yeah,
going to be getting
yeah,
symptoms.
it's still
Yeah,
post as well, post
yeah,
menopausal.
yeah, you're still going to be getting symptoms as well. It's just that your menstrual cycle has stopped. So one thing to note is that during perimenopause, you still have the ability to become pregnant. So I had a conversation recently.
Mm,
There was a workshop, and I joined the workshop, and I was saying to them that, if you have a coil fitted, you can have a HRT coil fitted, which is hormone replacement treatment, and it releases a bit of hormones into your system, which it's kind of like a bit like a blocker to the menopause, and that might be one of the reasons why I haven't had really a lot of the drastic symptoms.
hmm.
But if you have that, you might find that your period will stop sooner rather than later. Now, you can take that coil out, but you still may be producing eggs. So one of the advice to women who may have a coil, and might have a HRT coil, your period could have stopped due to that coil, due to you having that coil. That doesn't mean that you have gone through the menopausal stage and then like menopause now, where you're no longer producing eggs, no longer having, you know, any of that reproduction going on. So what that doctor actually said was to be careful when taking out a coil, thinking that you've gone through gone through the stages and now is like post-menopause. They said be very
Mm.
careful because there's a possibility that you still can get pregnant. And I said, thank you very much for that information. um, because the reality is that this is kind of new to a lot of people, including doctors. And so you want to be on the side of caution when you're going through things like that. Or when you might have a coil fitted with HRT. When you were speaking about the dryness and so forth, Catherine said, let the church say yes. Because I think that there there are other methods like what you were saying in terms of being intimate. And I think that this is where some of the men can come in when your wife isn't, or your significant other isn't feeling connected in that way, emotionally connected or anything like that. This is where you can change up things. And certainly for a wife, if you're not feeling as though you want to be intimate, you can become quite emotional, quite tearful. I know people who have said this, that they want to be intimate, but they're not feeling the intimacy. And the fear is that their partner might cheat on them. And so there's an article that I was reading in terms of, can menopause cause relationship breakdown? And it says millions of women across this UK. I'm reading it from Crisp and Co, and they're part of the Stowe family law. So the reason why this was important, because it's a law firm, and they basically deal with divorces, so they know statistically how many people have actually said this might be due to the menopause or the change of life, or whatever way that people want to put it. But it says millions of women across the UK experience symptoms of menopause every day, but unfortunately we still don't fully understand all the physical, emotional and mental effects it may have. And it says there does, however, seem to be a correlation between menopause and divorce rates. Before the recent changes to the law, divorce solicitors often found that women were citing symptoms of menopause as reasons for breakdown of their marriage. It says, additionally, the many symptoms of menopause have been known to have drastic impacts on the state of relationships, causing an increase in disputes, a lack of understanding, reduced physical intimacy, poor communication, and eventually the breakdown of relationships. And so they've got a number of different things that they've actually looked at, and maybe we're not going to discuss them all, but this can be food for thought for those that are probably going through challenging times in your marriage and wondering what dynamics have actually changed, why have things changed so much, and why does things seem to be really difficult and challenging? Why is it that my wife isn't listening? Why is she irritable? Why is she snappy? Why is she depressed? Why is she anxious? Why is she lost the desire to have sex? So here are some food for thoughts and questions. How does menopause reduce intimacy in relationships? The effects of menopause on a woman's mental health. Common symptoms of menopause. These are discussions that we could have. We can look through some of them. How does menopause affect relationships? Can menopause lead to divorce? Can menopause lead to anger towards husbands? Are affairs more common during menopause? And I think that looking at, we've discussed a couple of those, like common symptoms of menopause. I think it's really important to understand the impact that menopause can have on a woman's mental
Mm.
health,
Mm.
because anything that shifts your mind is causing you to have a mental health problem. And if there is anxiety there, if there is depression there, these are all things that are considered mental health. And I don't think that people pay enough attention to the mental health of women when they're going through depression. It's kind of like really scooted underneath the carpet and just like, oh, she's just moany, or why are you just being anxious all the time? Why are you just being worried? And it might come across like she might be really anxious or worried about bills, but it seems really extreme. Like,
Mm.
why are you going on like that? It's really not necessary. I think it's important for men to pay attention, because if they wasn't that way inclined before, what might be triggering it? If that
Yeah.
woman seems to be really depressed, don't really want to get up, don't really want to go to work, feeling tired, feeling fatigued, what has been the change of behavior? Because these are things that you have to look at. She's not normally like that. Instead of responding to her moods, why not think a little bit more about what might be happening to her mental health? And so I
But
stopped.
it's the education, Debbie, that as
Absolutely,
men,
it's a lack.
as men, you get we've been conditioned as men, especially, to put women in a bracket of she's just moan. Yes, there is some. You just moan. There were those that just moan and groan, you know, because they do. But
Hmm.
there are those that come under premenopausal or full blown menopause, and there's women that don't even know that they are,
Yeah.
you know,
So
and this is
Vivine
where it
said,
has to be.
Vivine said that Travel Lodge, Travel Buffet said, hear me, Travel Lodge, Travel Buffet, Vivine, she said,
Click it.
yeah, I am. She said that some women don't have a regular cycle. So that's something that you probably might not even know, that there's even challenges there, which could be difficult to know that it is premenopausal, because they might not have a regular cycle in the first place. In response to me asking the questions about the physical things, she basically mentioned all the things that I mentioned, which was brain fog, weight gain, being irritable. Um, Mel basically said also, medically, vaginal dryness, pain, or bleeding during intercourse, pelvic floor relapse as well. Um, and she said, yes, that is minimum. And yes, Debbie, but I'm not too sure what that was about because I was talking. Um, and it says it's longer having a monthly. It started at 45. My symptoms scared the heck out of me. Um, the doctors
I was,
and
yeah,
sorry,
go.
the doctors and technicians nicknamed themselves the sex, urine, and poop professionals.
I just want to answer that, Michael, that you've put up.
What
Is
is that?
interrupted sleep normal during menopause?
Yeah,
Yes, it is as well.
it can
And
be
it's funny
insomnia,
because I just was
insomnia,
going to say,
hmm
um,
loss of
oh,
appetite,
my
normal.
battery,
I'm not
uh,
too
my,
sure about. I'm not too sure about the loss of appetite. Um, However, I haven't come across that in any articles. I don't know if you have, Paul, but again, I haven't read every article on it. And there might be the exception to the rule, but
1 minute, my battery's going to run out.
definitely the sleep. Um, Often women become insomniacs during this time, find it very difficult to sleep. And I'm wondering if it's probably to do with the night sweats as well. That will cause you probably to feel quite irritable and not really able to sleep very well. And the night sweats can be very, very intense, for some women, where they wake up and where their sleeping is soaking wet, you know.
What they've said as well is some researchers believe that mood swings are related to the other factors of menopause. You can't sleep. Awaked, you're awakened each night, drenched in sweat. You might be a little cranky the next day. So there are those that don't sleep. There are those that, as well, Debbie, which I was looking at, that they have a loss of appetite.
Mhm.
Um, while I was examining this in my mind, it's it's having some sort of supplement that's picking you up, that energizes you. Going to the gym is definitely going to energize you, but you might feel like at the same time, "Ugh,"
Mhm.
by going. You can always do it at home, you know. Um, but sleep becomes a factor, or fatigue because you're feeling that um, weakness in yourself, and that's where the loss of appetite can happen as well, Debbie. You know, it's drinking lots of I want to say water, but I only drink alkaline water. You know,
Oh wow.
so um, drinking alkaline water also energizes your body, and
Hmm.
I'm not plugging it, but that's what we do in our house. We have a machine now, um, and it energizes you because
Hmm.
our bodies are made up of alkaline as well. That's a whole different subject in itself, you know. But to answer your question,
So so I wanted us to talk about some of the solutions, because as well as there obviously being the problems, it's good for us to look at some of the solutions surrounding the menopause. So I've got a few here. Um, I'm not too sure how well some of them would actually work. I think that it's trial and error. You have to see what kind of works for you. So one of the things that like a lot of my friends say that they get a lot of the hot flushes, and this is one of the main common things that women talk about. So most of my friends have fans. They walk with fans. Um, and again, like I said, I'm quite fortunate. I don't typically get hot flushes all the time. However, what I did notice that if I have any like wine, any kind of wine or alcohol, I noticed for the next couple of days, possibly until that's like flushed out, um I will get sweats, and I've watched this purposely. Funny thing is that they say, or like here it says, avoid potential triggers such as spicy food, caffeine, hot drinks, smoking, and alcohol. Now, I don't smoke. Hot drinks. I don't know why hot drinks would really affect you having hot flushes. Like, I'm not too sure. The spicy food, that hasn't been a trigger for me. Caffeine hasn't been a trigger for me. I've only really noticed it if
and
I
it can be for other
have.
women though.
Uh,
Like you said earlier on,
mm?
it could be for some others as well, because obviously
That's what I'm
they've
saying.
done
Me
probably done a
personally,
study, and there are some people that hot drinks are a
absolutely.
trigger for them. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, they say sugars is a trigger. However, I don't have sugar. I normally have like honey, or I have al can't pronounce it, algarve, which is like a sugar. Um, but I that doesn't typically trigger me at all. But they say to avoid these things. So I guess it's for you, it's guess for the woman, it's kind of trial and error. You have to see what is working for you, what isn't working, and try and take certain things out of your diet and see if that actually works. Um, Another good thing, you mentioned it, Paul, is regular exercise. Um, I don't know if that helps with the night sweats or what it does. I only can say that that will probably help you in reducing the belly fat, because it says
Well,
lose weight if
I
you're
was
going to take.
thinking, that you're opening your pores in exercising.
Hmm.
So what then happens is that the secretion of your sweat. I remember reading something like this. Uh, you're opening your pores to all of this, so it limits the amount of sweat afterwards. Um, that you sweat less. The more you sweat, and um, in exercise, what I've found anyway as a man, where I was exercising, I used to sweat. I was like, Daddy, I can drench a bed. Ask
Hmm.
Catherine. I should drench a bed, just drench it, backside, you know. And like her side, she'll
And
say
it roll
roll
over.
over, and she said, "Oh, the bed's wet."
Hmm.
Literally, soak
Hmm.
the whole bed. And
Hmm.
the more I exercise, the less I sweat. You know,
You found
so
that? You found that to be
yeah, there
good?
might be something in that. You
That
know,
doesn't happen. That doesn't happen with me, because I go to the gym all the time and I sweat. I sweat badly when I go
you
to the
sweat at
gym.
the gym.
Yeah, I sweat at the gym, and
You're
then
not working out
nighttime I
enough.
still sweat. Huh?
You're not working out enough. You have to push it.
No, I'm saying that's what I do. I naturally
No,
I
I'm
sweat
joking,
I
man. I'm
sweat a
joking.
lot at the gym. So, that doesn't that hasn't decreased it for me. But they do say wear lighter clothing. But if it's winter time and you're out, do you know what
And
I mean? Keep your bedroom cool at night. I guess you can have a fan in there,
mm,
take a cool shower, have cold drinks.
don't
But
sleep with a
the thing is,
quilt.
when they're
Don't
saying
sleep
have
with a
cold
quilt on
drinks,
the bed.
sorry?
Don't sleep with a quilt on your bed. Sleep with sheets.
Yeah, but it's not
Maybe
every
cotton.
night that you probably sweat.
Mm.
Well, I typically sweat anyway, from a kid. That's always been, probably got that from daddy. But, I think that where they're saying there's certain things I guess you can put into place. I think that the exercise as well, because they've got it here, try to reduce your stress level. I think exercising isn't just about the weight loss. It really gives clarity in your mind. It reduces stress. If you go for walks, I know that is like one of the top things for me. Going for walks, it gives me mental clarity. It cuts down on my anxiety and my moods. It does that to no ends for me. But I guess it's trial and error. It's finding things that are actually going to work for you. And I think that one of the main takeaways is for like the article that you read in terms of the relationships. This goes across the board. So your work colleagues, your employer, your spouse, your children, they all need to be aware of the fact that you are going through the menopause. Like my best friend, she tells everybody, like, right now I'm not good. I'm not good, and I think that it's important for you to educate your loved ones and those that are around you so that they will know what is actually going on with you. Typically, some women don't know that they're actually perimenopausal. It's only after a period of time that they probably recognize that they are. Um, Over to you, Paul. I'm going to read a little bit more about.
Yeah.
Um,
I got after this I have one thing to read, and
on.
then um so they were talking about mood swings in this article, um uh how to keep emotional and mood swings in check. And when I had a stroke, and I'm not comparing that, I'm talking about the frustration, yeah,
Mm,
of wanting to say something, feeling irritable. What I learned to do, and I agree with, is it says take a deep breath before doing anything. Just stop and take a deep breath. When you feel your mood starting to shift, our brains are wired to think that they're being attacked by a tiger. This is what they're saying, and being on the receiving end of a few poorly chosen words.
mm-hmm,
Deserve a few poorly chosen words deserve the same reaction. An adrenaline fueled response may be more than you need. We need also sometimes mishear or misinterpret things. A sticky note on the fridge asking you to do the dishes doesn't mean you're lazy. You're a lazy bum.
mm-hmm,
Why don't you ever do anything around here? Probably just means I need to do the dishes. But I think that you have to be careful. Listen, a woman premenopause, you can't turn around and say to her, um,
Where's my dinner?
you know,
She might just chuck it at you.
how come you didn't do the dishes? No, 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 no. This is where I
You have to be
I jump in
sensible.
as a man and say, when you understand that your significant other is premenopause or menopause or post, you just jump in and do these things. You might turn around and say, I worked all day. I'll come home and have me dinner. What if she didn't cook you dinner? You know, because she wasn't in the mood. She was in a place, you know. It's that understanding what you're dealing with, you
Mm-hmm,
know. You're dealing with a hormonal change, you know, which will bring a mood swing.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just say that as a man? It will bring about a mood swing where
Mm.
we have to be more understanding and accommodating. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I want to do the menopause, as in men having a cycle,
Mm-hmm.
because women put up with a lot of what we do also. And some of us don't know that we're going through it. We think it's just stress from work, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but there's a shift, a change in our bodies as well as men. It's just that we don't recognize it.
Absolutely.
You know, that one me that you always every single month you act like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what are you talking about? They said, yeah, you always last month you done the same thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
acted the same way you done it. And I said, no, no. Well, you're doing it now. No, this is the first time. Yeah,
Mm.
defensive.
Yeah.
The next month when I did it again, they told me, see,
Mm.
you're doing it right now. And then I thought, oh wow, I am on I.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the previous month, what she said, I had to go back and say, sorry,
Mm.
you're right. You
Yeah.
know, so now I realize I just come out of one.
Mm-hmm.
I know I just came out of one, but because I know I was in it, I didn't I didn't just act it out. I remember, what did I say to Catherine the other day? I said, did I say, Catherine, I know she's on it, did I say you're getting on my nerves or something that I said? And she said, what? And,
What?
but it was something else. But it was the way I said it that
Mm-hmm.
made me know that I was
Happy.
in that season, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And in that season, just like some women, you don't want anybody to touch you, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, um,
Gonna read some of the chats.
Yeah, I am. But let me just quickly. It says don't do anything. Don't react to anything. It said repeat what just happened. You'll find out exactly. You'll find out what exactly just happened if you react in anger or aggression. The best way to get someone on the defense is to position yourself on the offense line. But I won't read all that because I know what I want to read, and that's where I'll be finished.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, Catherine said so many occasions. Oh
Yeah.
baby, baby. See, memory loss. Yeah. Stroke. I don't remember all of that. Yeah.
So I wanted to go back up, and Mel's basically said, of course, it can damage a relationship. I don't think that people are cognizant of what's actually happening during that time. Now, Michael, you've put an extremely long word there, and I'm not very good with pronunciations, but it's our hormone replacements found in plants and relieves hot flushes. So I guess that's a solution um, to helping women
So
with
I
their.
wonder, Michael, whether it's that you know this or that your wife just told you that as well.
She could have.
Or it could be Jackie that's writing as well.
Yeah, it could be.
I wonder.
Mel said there is a there is a medical exam that leads physical and psychological rehabilitation and resources. Yeah, I think that there, as time has gone on, there's more and more information out there and resources to help and to support. So, as well as the solutions, I think that I'm going to touch quickly on before we wrap up. Can menopause lead to anger towards husbands or partners? In this article, it says menopause and anger towards husbands and other partners relate may be related. During menopause and perimenopause, many people find themselves becoming angry, particular where there's significant others involved. And I guess that's because, if you're feeling frustrated, anxious, or whatever, it's those that are closest to you that normally gets it. Spikes of estrogen levels can cause mood swings, and with the addition of sleepless nights, heightened anxiety, and other symptoms, it's easy to become overwhelmed and angry. As the person, you are likely spending the majority of time with and feel the most comfortable around, your spouse is probably going to be on the other end of these angry outbursts. Luckily, there are measures that can be taken in order to help to get the support that you need. These solutions can include time discussing your feelings both alone and with your partner during therapy, hormone replacement therapy, which I
Michael
spoke
just
about
mentioned.
earlier on, antidepressants, open communications with friends, family members, and your partners, which is all things that we actually spoke about before. And then the last part of the article, which I think is necessary to speak about. And uh, the reason why I'm saying that is because if if we speak about these things, then it can help people in their relationships to probably see where things are at. So we spoke about, can menopause cause anger towards husbands or partners? Now, this part is, are affairs more common during menopause? It says, and remember, this is from a solicitor firm who naturally deals with divorces. It says, unfortunately, affairs are much more common than we realize. There are many different reasons why somebody may choose to have an affair, including because of the lack of sexual desire, lack of love and intimacy, self esteem, and anger. Menopause can affect all of these is and if left unchecked has the potential to damage a relationship enough that an affair occurs. During menopause, there is a drop in the amount of not oxytocin in the body. This along reduces intimacy, and loss of sexual connections can lead to change in the way a relationship is viewed. A decreased libido is a common problem for couples and one that is often caused by menopause. This can result in resentment and build-up of sexual frustration that that have sorry frustration that have may result in a fear. It's just the way that they worded it. So it's important to remember, however, that an affair can occur for many other reasons, um, and that menopause is unlikely to be the sole reason for the massive breach of trust, which is true. That could be it could be the icing on the cake. It could be the thing that broke the camel's back when there's the lack of intimacy, there's anger there, there's frustration, taking things out on the person. All of those things can add to probably other problems, which will probably, I think, if there is a lack of communication in the relationship and you are going through menopause, that can be an added problem, because if there's communication there, you'll be talking through the challenges that you're experiencing.
Absolutely.
If there is, lack of like your husband not being that sensitive to you, just generally anyway, not being empathetic, then these things, it's like they're saying at the end of that article, it's not they don't think that it is the main thing that cause
Mm,
it, but lead to possibly, your spouse having an affair. And I think that it's necessary to have those conversations when you do find yourself being snappy, and or if you're a man and you're on the receiving end of your wife being snappy or depressed, not wanting to get up, not wanting to go to work, not remembering things. You might have had a
hot sweats
might
and
have, yeah, you might have had a conversation and she's like, I don't remember. Believe her when she's saying that she doesn't remember. Like sometimes people might think it's an excuse, but consider that along with all of the other things, not an
yeah, because
isolated
yeah,
incident
yeah,
of
exactly.
of, of her not having memory. Look at all of the other behaviors as well that will
Mm,
probably add up to my wife, my significant others probably going through a menopause. Don't just take one thing and say, oh, you always say you don't remember. What about all of the other things that might be occurring as well?
mm, mm.
So yeah, over
Because
to
if you
you.
loop them all together, you could it could
To come to that
conclude
conclusion. Yeah.
exactly. That's where I was saying one of the things you just said just now, and I said it earlier on about the communication. I don't, just my personal opinion. You're in a relationship with someone, and I don't understand where you're, it's a long-term relationship. Let's say it's that, where you cannot or do not communicate your feelings to your significant other.
Mm.
I think it's vital. You've chosen to be in a marriage, let's say, or a long-term relationship, and you can't express, and the recipient should be able to listen and hear what he or she is saying at that particular time. Because this is why, look at me. I mean, it took me years to understand about menopause or premenopausal women, because it's not something that I needed to know. But
Mhm.
it does, because it affects the relationship. You know, I need to know if my wife is, if it's a mood swing or she's angry at me about something, and I need her to talk to me and let me know. I need to know if there's changes with her body, you know,
Mm.
so that I can understand that. I'm not there thinking 101 other things, you know, um, like I did. Um, she's going through changes. She's
Mm.
super fatigued, you know, and then on top of it, your husband's had a stroke or he's in hospital, and then you're still having to deal with all the children, or still go to work, and still come and cook dinner because he's at work, and it's a lot.
Mhm.
And then we're saying, you just moan, man. What's the matter
Mhm.
with you? You just shout all the time, but not understanding all these symptoms. They gel together and can be menopause or
Mhm.
uh, perimenopause. I'm just going to read this, and I've finished. The same doctor as well that I was talking about. He said, I recently saw a couple in my office for a medical visit. The husband insisted on accompanying his wife, who was in her mid 50s, into the examine room, because he wanted to make sure she relayed all of her symptoms and all the things that were going on in her life. He immediately commandeered the examination. First of all, he said, she isn't interested in sex with me anymore, and she does not, and she does everything that she can to avoid being intimate with me. The wife put her head down in embarrassment. The doctor shifted the conversation to the patient and asked, have you noticed any significant changes in your behavior or the way you feel lately? She launched into a lengthy list of symptoms: depression, severe hot flushes, night sweats, forgetfulness. Um, she also reported waking up 3 or 4 times each night and lacking energy without a doubt. I knew what she was dealing with: menopause. She finished by saying, I don't want to have sex. So now this is her expressing herself. You could say in a safe place, but the
Mhm.
man was wrong to go in there and be the bully, my this, that. Yeah. It's her examination. I know as a man, I wouldn't want Catherine to come in and she's taken over my examination, and I've come to see the doctor. No, get out. Yeah. Not that I would say that, baby. Yeah.
Exactly. Say that.
Come back, huh? 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 Anyway, she finished by saying, I don't want to have sex because I feel so ugly and attractive. Notice what she said. I don't want to have sex because I feel so ugly and attractive, and also because it hurts so much now. The husband sat there, his mouth open in disbelief. Wow, he said, when he first when he regained speech. That's the first time that I've heard of any of that. His wife
Mm.
said, I thought there was something wrong with me. I was embarrassed to tell you.
Mm.
And there's more, but I'm just stopping there. You
Yeah.
know, she was
And that's
embarrassed to tell him.
yeah, and that's true. I guess there is going to be that embarrassment, but your husband's not a mind reader.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
Can you
mean?
imagine? He's been trying it on. Let's say he's been trying it on, And she, as a woman, you'll know there's no secretion.
Mm.
You know, it's not, and not really feeling it because your head is not in the game. Your head is, you could have a headache, a real headache. See, I used to think, I mean, there was parts of it that said that you get severe headaches for some women.
Mm.
And you see,
There is
again,
migraines.
we've
Yeah.
been conditioned as men to say, "Oh, she's got a headache again." How many heard, "Oh, she got a headache," you
Hmm.
know? And it could be
Yeah.
that she's going through menopause. It can
Yeah.
be. I'm not saying in all cases. There are those
Absolutely.
women that have headaches every
All the
minute of the day, you
time.
know, and
Now, I
that's it.
do know people who suffer from migraine, and it's really
Yep,
intense, and it's at some
yep,
at
as well.
certain periods, and
Yep.
was accused of the same thing. Like, you always got a headache. Well, this is why I'm going to the doctors. This is why they're doing brain scans. This is why and they literally given her tablets, and if she has to she has to take them all the time at a certain time. If you get, I mean, like, she can
Hmm.
feel it when it's coming on, and it's really intense, and she doesn't she finds it difficult to get out of bed, and all of that, all the things that will come if you having really severe migraines. And so after they got to the bottom of it, you know, there's that preventative measure. She actually has tablets for it. You can't, no ibuprofen or paracetamol would work, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, accused of, you know, um making excuses.
There are those that are just like that,
Hmm.
and you will be able to piece it all together as a man,
To
even as a
just,
woman. You
mm,
start piecing it all together, and
absolutely.
hopefully this has been informative and will help those that don't or are going through symptoms maybe, or it will help the men to um, group it all together and see from that perspective. But
Hmm.
most importantly, talk to your partner, communicate with one another, you know, and you will you will gel, and you will be, and the relationship will grow intimately because of the togetherness.
Hmm.
You know, you're
It's a
together.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to be single, say single. But if
Hmm.
you're in a relationship, that's what it's about. You are real in a relationship, real. Yeah. You got to be real.
Relate.
You just got to be real
Mm.
in it with your partner. You know, got to be. And men, I say, for you men who have not even examined this side of things, it's
The
good.
research, there's
And
a lot of information out
yeah,
there.
and women, take it to your men. Get them to watch this and say, there's a man here talking about menopause. You
Hmm.
know, I have a greater respect now, um, for what women go through and their bodies. You know, we don't, as men, we don't really, we'll deal with men issues one day as well, you know, but
Hmm.
we don't have all of that, you know, eggs and, not working. I mean, we do, but you know what I mean?
Information.
The, the full changes that women go through,
Yeah.
because as men, we don't go through those same changes, but not the same. You know,
Hmm.
as I said, the eggs. I remember that we got swimmers too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've finished now.
Then-
That's me.
all right, let me read these last comments. Um, it is a it is a very simple examination, similar to the preliminary of a pap smear, sorry, where the doctor checks for muscle mass, color, and muscle strength. I think that might have been in relation to. Not too sure. Not too sure. Remind us. So the next one is doctors encourage women to practice, is that Kegel exercise, such as was encouraged after vaginal delivery. So that's like tensing up of the muscles,
Mm.
the walls. Um, uh, I don't know what this was in relation to. Maybe you might know. Low pull at working out hard.
Yeah, when I said, "Come on,"
Oh, right, right. Yeah, so just a couple of other, he from Catherine, and good job, Catherine, and
Michael
one
says W.
W.
Kegel,
So,
Kegel exercise, contracting and relaxing the muscles that
mhm,
form part of the pelvic floor.
pelvic floor,
So
yeah,
really, pelvic floor exercise, known as pelvic floor. It's known as pelvic floor
floor
exercise.
exercise, yeah,
Yeah, but the medical
Kegel
term is
is
um,
Kegel,
Kegel.
yeah. So we hope that this has been informative. It's not extensive by any means, but I hope that's something you can take away from it. Um, I think that definitely the communication, like you said, Paul, I think that it's necessary for the woman really to express as well what they're going through so that their significant other, children, colleagues, employer, whoever can really understand what they might be going through. And if you're
Absolutely.
finding that you're going through some challenging things at the moment, memory loss, like myself, or just feeling anxious, overwhelmed, like start doing some research and start linking things, because it's not going to come in isolated. It's not just going to be one thing. It is going to be at least two or three things that you're experiencing. And then, ask the family and friends and so forth to be a bit more understanding. I think that is the way forward so that you don't feel more anxiety. Get out, go for walks, go to the gym, they say wear thinner clothing, wear have thin bed sheets, and try and find solutions that are going to help you through the challenges, because it's not going to go away for a while. um but see what works for you. One It's not one size fits all, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's it for tonight. I hope that it
Yes,
helped. Thanks, Paul, for your input as well and your research. I
it's
salute
funny
you.
how much you can
Always,
take in.
yeah, you
You
always
know,
come through with the information, which is really good.
thank you, thank you. I
You do
appreciate,
your
and you
whole
as well. You as well. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't to educate yourself on things like this doesn't take long.
No, it doesn't.
I'm interested. You have to be interested in your because you're investing.
Hmm.
Yeah, both ways. You're investing, so it's good to be equipped with information that helps. It helps.
It does help
It
what she said.
helps your wife know that you are on her side. As Catherine
Mhm.
likes to use, that you're covering, that I'm covering her. Yeah, it's important. So I end there as well because I'll start a whole different subject if I start talking. Right? So thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for joining us. Those on Instagram, those on Facebook, not Facebook, sorry, YouTube. Thank
YouTube.
you all for your comments and putting your information through. Oh, Michael was doing.
Yeah,
He
he
was.
said it was his phone.
Yeah, he's got like all
Ignore my
the.
W was left. Phone's
You make me laugh, Michael.
wrong wall.
Yeah, thank you all, and hope that you have a good night. So
Yes.
until
Thank
next
you,
week,
everybody.
God bless you, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye for now.